What's good, y'all? It's Drew here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Shanks and just trying to go over what his next move might be. So don't forget to like, subscribe for more content if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification because you know YouTube trying to play with us. Obviously, with the bell notification, don't forget to have it set to all instead of personalized because YouTube is finicky with that kind of stuff. But first things first, question of the day. Question of the day is, what do you think Shanks' next move is? And I know that's a loaded question, but Shanks is such a mysterious character that has to be the question of the day. Like, I really want to know what y'all think. Because I want to get back into the One Piece side of things, you know what I'm saying? I've touched upon, obviously, Boruto and stuff lately, which, you know, Tokyo Revengers. Check out those videos if you haven't already. All that stuff is cool, but you can't beat One Piece. So I want to talk about One Piece real quick. Because I think Shanks is someone that is really interesting. Especially if you read the latest chapters, because talk about it, you know, I'm assuming you're reading the latest chapters if you're on my channel. But yeah, we learned about who's who, and he failed to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi. And we don't know a lot about that information, obviously, but we do know that that means who's who and Shanks are connected in some way because, as we know, Shanks had the Gomu Gomu no Mi when Luffy found it. So we don't know what happened there, but we can assume that Shanks has some sort of relation with the who's who situation. So that's, you know, a whole thing we've been monitoring. Shanks has been clouded in mystery literally since episode 1 or chapter 1, wherever you want to go. Shanks has always been clouded in mystery. 1,000 chapters later, bro is still clouded in mystery, so we really don't know much about him. But still, even with that in mind, like, Shanks is just so much. There's so much to talk about with Shanks. Like, what is Shanks' role as the Yonko? Because he's one of the people that has been chilling. Big Mom and Kaido, they now want to go after the One Piece. We know Blackbeard want to go after the One Piece. But what is Shanks doing? Shanks has been a Yonko for, I think we know he's been a Yonko for, I can't remember exactly the time, but he's been a Yonko for at least like the last 4 years, I think. But still, we don't know how he became a Yonko. We don't know what he's currently doing as a Yonko. What is he doing with that stuff? Talking about Shanks' next move, I feel like you have to decipher that conversation he had with the gorosei, because he pulled to the gorosei and was like, I want to talk to you about a certain pirate. If we got the answer to that question, that would probably tell us what Shanks' quote-unquote next move could be, because that seems to be like what his mind was on. I think that was either the Reverie arc or that was early Wano. Probably not early Wano, it was probably Reverie arc. So, like, that's the most recent we've seen of Shanks. Obviously, people are going to think, oh, it's Luffy or it's a Blackbeard. Me, personally, I always feel like him coming to the gorosei to tell them about Blackbeard made no sense because it was like, bro, Blackbeard literally just pulled to Marineford, got 2 devil fruits, and tricked the whole government. They should already be worried about Blackbeard. Like, it doesn't make sense for Shanks to pull up and tell them to worry about Blackbeard. And Luffy, I mean, there are still those Shanks' evil theories that exist, that's true. But why would Shanks be snitching on Luffy like that? And even if he is snitching, like, Luffy's also a character that you should always, everyone in the pirate world should be aware of him. Son of Dragon, grandson of Garp, sworn brother of Sabo and Ace, has Nico Robin on his crew. Like, Luffy is not a joke. And that's where, like, the theories of maybe it's like Kid or something weird. I don't know who Shanks was talking about per se, and I don't have an answer. So that's a little unfortunate, but like I definitely don't have an answer to that. But still, I think that Shanks' next move, like, we know it's gonna be big. So I guess I have to break down what I think Shanks' next move could be. And it's a couple things. Like, I personally think that Shanks is going to pull up in the next arc. I think that I'm still kind of, you know, shaky on it. I feel like when Luffy went Conqueror's Hockey and he was hanging with Kaido, it seemed like by next arc Luffy would be strong enough to meet, you know, Shanks again and give his hat and stuff back. But I still feel like even though Luffy got one shot, or we can't say he got one shot, but even though Luffy got beat by Kaido convincingly, it seemed like, I still feel like the next arc is going to be elbaf in my opinion. I think that Shanks might pull up in that arc. If the next arc involves Shanks, we know that Shanks and Luffy will probably have a fight. That'll be a cool thing. The Shanks and world government connection could be like stronger than we think. The theories of those already exist, but like, what if Shanks is in cahoots with, or like, the world government? Like, Shanks could legitimately be a spy. I feel like Shanks is a reactionary character, so it depends on what happens. Like, I could see, we know that Kid has a, you know, he has beef with Shanks, so to speak. Will Kid pull up on Shanks and they have a little conflict there? Is Shanks gonna fight Blackbeard? That's something I probably should talk about. Now, if we're talking about a obvious next move for Shanks, it's a Shanks versus Blackbeard encounter, because it's obviously been hinted for years and years and years now. Shanks, he got the scar from Blackbeard. Shanks and Blackbeard were both on, when they were basically cabin boy level people, or at that age, they were on Roger and Whitebeard's crew. They're both Yonko now. And we know that Blackbeard, at Marineford, he was aware he couldn't hang with Shanks, but it's been a long time since Marineford. And Blackbeard is always on demon time. He's always ignorant, so their paths could cross. It could be a very similar thing to like the Ace and Blackbeard situation. We're seeing Luffy and the Strawhat, they're doing what they're doing, and then we go to where Ace and Blackbeard they are and they're fighting. I think it could be very similar where Shanks might pull up on Blackbeard and be like, all right, enough is enough, and they fight. And knowing how Blackbeard, he's the main villain, or he's the final antagonist, I'm assuming Shanks might lose that encounter. So that's definitely something I think would be, I think it's a little more on the obvious side, because I feel like people have already been assuming or just theorizing that Shanks is going to die from Blackbeard. And I always thought that was a little bit much. Like, Shanks doesn't have to necessarily die. I don't know how much that would give Luffy's character or anything like that. But a Shanks Blackbeard encounter, Oda knows about it. So we either going to get it because it's so obvious, or we won't get it because it's that obvious, if that makes sense. So Shanks, if you're talking about an obvious point for Shanks to do, or obvious next move for Shanks, is definitely a Shanks and Blackbeard encounter. There's a possible Shanks and Akainu encounter. I don't think that's as obvious because Akainu's like the fleet admiral and stuff, but Shanks pulling up on the government, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Shanks could also pull up to Wano. I think that's pretty unlikely because Shanks and Luffy have that thing where they can't really meet. Like, Shanks kind of, quote unquote, he could have met Luffy in Marineford, but it was kind of a thing where Luffy left as soon as Shanks came. I don't think that Oda's going to do that again because I feel like that was more to show that Luffy was not ready to meet Shanks. But I feel like right now, Luffy's kind of almost ready to meet Shanks. So I don't see Oda doing a thing where they're in the same place, but just at different times. I don't see that happening. So I don't think Shanks is pulling to Wano, honestly. Weren't we told that 2021 was the year of Shanks, bro? Aren't we in, like, maybe July? Bro, Shanks, you got 5 more months. Make your move. Like, this is like Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. Make your move. It's your turn. I forgot about that. They did say 2021 was the year of Shanks. And he is, I don't think, have we even seen Shanks in 2021? So the fact that that is, the fact that we haven't seen, bro, in this entire year is kind of disappointing. But I mean, the thing with Shanks is, we get so little of him. They could show a clip, like, literally, the last time we saw him, it was him looking at a newspaper and then smiling when he saw Luffy's being named the 5th Emperor. So we get so little of Shanks that Shanks could pull up and do one small thing and everyone loses their mind, rightfully so, because it's red-haired Shanks. We could get a backstory with him. That's another thing that they talk about the year of Shanks. Like, if we get a Who's Who backstory, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some stuff with Shanks. Like, we might see the red-haired pirates 12 years ago. It seems like we might get a Who's Who flashback very soon. Or something related, because we see he's really important now, right? With the Lucci and stuff and the Jibby, all that stuff. We might get some stuff with a younger red-haired Shanks crew. That could be something interesting. With that, they could delve into his past, because Shanks is a character that... Shanks is probably one of the few characters that we don't know their last name. One Piece is weird in the sense that some characters have a last name and some don't. But sometimes they care about it, sometimes they don't. Like Nami, what's her last name? Usopp, what's his last name? But for important characters, we usually know their last name. Whitebeard is not a D. He's Edward Newgate. Same with Linlin. Same with Kaido. Well, Kaido, we're gonna get some stuff with Kaido. I think Kaido's the main villain. You know the vibe with Kaido. But Shanks is probably one of the most important characters that we don't have a name for. Maybe Sengoku's another one, but like the fact that we don't know pretty much anything about Shanks' lineage, I have some like suspicions and stuff, right, with the death with God Valley incident, but we don't know anything about him for the most part. There are obvious things for Shanks to do, which is like, you know, Shanks meeting Blackbeard or something, or elbaf for the next arc being Shanks meeting Luffy. That those being his next moves are very obvious things that we've probably heard thousands of times because Shanks information is not readily available. We don't get a lot of new Shanks information, so the theories we have about Shanks don't really change. This is the first time that we got new Shanks information in how many years now? And it's not even directly about Shanks. It's just about something that was involved with Shanks. So that tells you everything you need to know. If Shanks' next move revolves around like Blackbeard, he's probably going to lose a Blackbeard, and that would be a whole big thing with Blackbeard. If Shanks is related to like Xebec or related to the D or something like that, or Celestial Dragon, it's going to be a part of that arc. So Shanks' next move, I feel like we're not going to get until we're ready for that point. So I expect Shanks' next move to not be even in Wano, because I don't think Shanks is pulling up in Wano. I think Wano's going to end, and it's going to be similar to the Ace and Blackbeard thing, where we see Shanks at the end of it, and he's doing something in whatever situation he's in. That's kind of what sparks the next arc. So, long story short, Shanks' next move is anything, I guess. Yeah, if you stuck around for the entire video, you're a real one. So comment red hair Shanks so I know you're real, because I know this is a lot. I feel like I'm just going all over the place just because of how little we know about Shanks. But shout out y'all for staying through all the way to the video. That's all, so peace.